Hey everybody, welcome back to our daily Facebook Live. Today we are learning all about otters. So as we build our audience and get everybody in here, let us know that you're here, that you can hear us, you can see us. We'll give a few shout outs and then we'll get started. And as you can see, we're checking out our otters. They are so curious, so cute. They love to show off for the visitors, and they are missing people just as much as we are missing all of you guys here at the zoo. Here we go. Ooh. All right. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Grace in Indiana. Anna, they are so cute. Hi, Julie in Columbus. Good morning, Grayson and Carter. Aw, we look forward to doing this every morning too. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Marley in Rossford. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Sophia in New Jersey. That's awesome. Vanessa, otters are some of our favorites too. Hi, Drake. Good morning, Kimmy in Georgia. Hi, Leah and Emily. Hi, Cameron. Good morning, everybody. We've got Mama Gracie and Gloria tuning in. Hi, Bane in Fostoria. Miles and Lucy in Toledo. Anna in Michigan. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Emerson and Sawyer. Jennifer, you are welcome. We have such fun with this. Hi, Brady and Bentley. Hi, Liam. Hi, Emery in Georgia. Addie and Ashton in Pennsylvania. My gosh, we're all over the place. This is so cool. Hi, Paisley in Monclova. Sophia and Evelyn in Toledo. Emma and Tessa. Emma and Gabby. This is very cool, guys. Hi to the SEAL team. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Jamie in Florida. Bree and Addie.
Time to grab a couple of other things from the freezer that I forgot. Sure.
Absolutely. So as you heard, Mary Beth is going to be joining us. She's grabbing a few more things from the freezer for these guys. So while we check them out and wait for her to come back, we've got a few announcements for you guys. As always, thank you for tuning in and joining us each day. We're doing Facebook Lives each and every weekday at 10:30. We try to move all around the zoo, show you guys some behind the scenes things and some of your favorite animals. So keep telling us what you want to see. We are trying really hard to make sure that we're getting everybody's suggestions in there. A couple of reminders, we are doing Meals on the Go again today. You still have the choice of chicken or beef enchiladas or chicken Alfredo with red or white sauce. You can go to ToledoZoo.org to place your dinner order. If you haven't figured out what you're having for dinner tonight for the family, it's a great way to be totally done with it right now. You can go online, order, and pay, and then you just drive up to our Broadway entrance and they'll bring it out to the car. You don't even have to get out. Total curbside service for you. And also today is our first virtual learning classroom with our education department. If you haven't signed up for that, go to ToledoZoo.org. It's right there on the home page under educational tools. It's $3 for members, $5 for non-members. And you guys can get a cool tour of the zoo and really supplement that homeschool learning that you're doing at home. So some new things and different ways that we're trying to stay connected to you guys. Thank you so much for all of your donations and memberships being renewed, Zoo Pals that you're helping to support the animals. Every little bit helps us sustain our future. So please keep them coming. We have a donate button here on all our live feeds. We have a Facebook fundraiser going on. We're creeping right up on the halfway point there. So thank you, thank you. And always you can go to ToledoZoo.org/donate and look at all of the ways that you can help support the zoo. Our commemorative bricks have been incredibly successful. You guys have really been loving those. We only have about 17 left. So if that's something you want, get in on that now. ToledoZoo.org/donate. All right, Mary Beth is back. She's got a few more fun items from the freezer for these guys. So Mary Beth, tell us about these otters and what we're going to be doing today.
Okay, sure. We have two otters, North American river otters, and the male's name is Winston. He came from Potter Park Zoo in Lansing, Michigan. And the female is Tilly, and she was from the Denver Zoo. She was originally born in the wild, and her mom got hit by a car, and so she was a rescue animal. And so we got them last year. Their ages are 3 and 2, and Tilly is the older one. And they've become best buddies since they got here. So they love to eat, and that's the highlight of their day. And usually we feed them around 1:30 in the afternoon. We feed them 3 times a day, actually. And today we're doing the special feed for you guys so that you can watch. And I'm going to show you when we go upstairs all the different types of food items they get.
Very cool. And bear with us. We are going to head upstairs right now. So there's going to be a little lag time here and a little probably strange signal. But you guys are going to love this view when we get up there. This is where the keepers go to feed and give enrichment to the otters. So we are going up. We will double check our microphones, guys. Make sure that you can hear us. Also check the settings on your Facebook videos. Sometimes when you log in, it automatically mutes things. So be sure that you've double checked and turned those up for you, but we'll check things on our end too. So we are up here above the otter exhibit now, and Mary Beth has brought up all kinds of food and enrichment for these guys. As she said, they are incredibly curious. They love their enrichment. They are very playful, so they get a lot of really fun stuff. Mary Beth, you want to talk to us about what we've got here?
Well, we have some frozen smelt wreaths. We also have a ball with some fish, some popsicles. In the center tray, we have...
Just like unplug it and plug it back in. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, let's see that.
Okay, so in the center tray, we have what one otter eats during a day. And that's smelt, some carrots, some ground meat, some trout, some capelin. And then they also get a product called Thiamine E, which is a vitamin supplement. So when we freeze and thaw fish, it loses some of its vitamins, and so we have to add it back in. And then on the left, we have some of their specialty items. So every day they get a rotating protein, which is kind of a treat that they like. We've started giving them these oxtails, and they spend a lot of time chewing on those. And then you can see hard-boiled egg. Today they get clams, and they can also get shrimp. That's a favorite. They get twice a week. And then in this little container, I don't know if you can guess what's in here. It's a snack. I don't know if you like it or not. Oh, where'd it go? We've got some earthworms. So once a week, they do get earthworms.
All right, so as she said, this is otter diet. Might not be the most appealing things to us humans, but these guys are certainly gonna love it. So just to recap real quick for you, what you have just seen, some clams, hard-boiled eggs, there's shrimp. The blue container has, yes, you said it, earthworms. We've got a variety of fish, some carrots, and a vitamin supplement. Now, Mary Beth, how are we gonna get this stuff to them?
So what we usually do when we come up here is we toss it into them. And Winston is the dominant animal. To tell them apart, Tilly is on the left right now. She has a whiter underneath her neck, and she's slightly smaller. And the one on the left, who's the bossy, pushy one, is Winston. Okay, so I can't just drop the food right there, or Winston will get everything. So what I do is I just take a piece of chopped fish, and I throw it in. Well, sometimes she'll go for it. And then I throw hers in a different location so that she can get her fish. And the other thing we can do is to sometimes throw hers up on land. Whoop, that fell in. And lots of times Tilly likes to eat up on land. And then we keep him busy, and then Tilly can get her fish.
Because it's important for each animal to get a balanced diet, right?
Right. And we are also keep close track of their weight. So we're able to get them to go on a scale. And Winston weighs about 8 kilograms, so that's around 18 pounds. And Tilly is slightly smaller, it's 7 kilograms. And we try to keep them from getting too fat or too thin. And Winston's checking to see if she left anything. Oh, no, that was Tilly. So they do squabble a little bit over their fish sometimes.
And she is feeding them fish right now. But as she said earlier and as she showed us, we do have a variety of things for them to eat. Talk to us about their teeth and their tongues and all of that, how they're chewing all this up, because we're seeing their cute little chompers here.
So otters have very strong teeth and sharp canine teeth. They catch fish in the wild, so they typically catch the slower fish or the schooling fish, and they live in freshwater streams and lakes. And you can see also they have webbed feet, so they're very well designed for swimming. And their bodies are streamlined so that they can swim well, and they have adaptations for that, such as they can close off their ears and their nose when they're underwater. So when you go to the pool, you have to bring sometimes goggles and earplugs and swim trunks. Well, the otters, you can see they just hop right in. They have an adaptation on their eyes called a nictating membrane that's clear, and it helps them to see underwater. So they don't see real well on land because of that. So they rely a lot on their sense of smell and hearing, and then also touch. So you notice they have these big whiskers, and when they're underwater, they use those to feel any little movement, and that helps them to find the fish in the water. And what else do we talk about? Their fur. So when they're swimming, they sometimes you see bubbles coming off of them. Well, when they get out of the water, they fluff up. They have very water repellent coat, or thick coat, because they're from North America like we are. They live outside in our bad winters. So to keep warm, when they get out of the water, they fluff up. They go up on the land and they dry off on the substrates and the little bedding we have underneath there. And that keeps them nice and warm. And when they go back in the water, that air comes out of their coat, and that's the little bubbles that you see when they're swimming around.
That's so cool. All right, Nathan wants to know, do employees interact with the otters?
Well, Nathan, what we do is in the morning, we feed them their vitamin supplement like I talked about, and we check to make sure that they're okay. We don't actually go in the stall with them. Otters can really bite, and there's no real need for us to go in with them. So what we do is we have a training area, and every day they go through the little chute, and we give them a reward for that. And then if they need to get a vaccination or something like that, it's very easy for us to close them in that little area and give them a shot. And we're also training Tilly to accept an ultrasound. So we have a half pipe, not like a snowboarding half pipe, but it's a cut half pipe along the fence that she goes in, and then we can touch her tummy with a little wand and give her a fish for doing that. And so far we're just using a pretend wand, but we do plan to use an actual machine and see, so if she was to be pregnant, we could tell.
Very nice. And Megan wants to know, what can they not eat?
Well, otters are carnivores primarily. Now you did probably see that they got some carrots on their tray, so they might eat some fruit that they would find, but they do primarily eat fish, so about 90% of their diet is usually fish. So whatever they can find. They also eat crayfish, they would eat insects, snails, they might eat the worms, or a bird if they could catch it, a few, like sometimes a snake. They're very opportunistic, so they adapt well. If there's not much fish where they're at, they'll move to another place that has better fish. And the things they should not eat, of course, would be they don't eat a lot of vegetables and grass and things like that. And they, of course, we have to be careful what toys we give them because they can chew them up. And we used to have African spotted-necked otters, which were smaller and they were kind of more polite. And they did not chew up their toys. And then when we got Winston, he took some of the old toys and chewed them up into bits. And so we had to change our strategy and give them tougher toys. Like today I gave them, they have something called a pool pickle, they have some boomer balls. Those are toys made specifically for animals.
Very cool. And Kenzie asks, do they do any tricks?
So we don't really train them to do tricks, but we've trained them to do some behaviors. And I can show you one thing. I have what's called a target pole. And so I've only started doing this a couple of days ago, so they don't always know what to do yet. But this is used to teach the animal to go to a certain location. So we could say target. Oop, I dropped something in there. Target. Tilly. Good. Ooh. So Tilly knows what to do. And for that, she can have a fish. If I can get Winston not to get it. Good. Sorry, guys. So we're just starting to work on that. And the way that you train any behavior is you try to get them used to it first. So Winston was afraid of the pole at first and he was snorting at it. So what I did was when he got close to it, I'd give him a fish for doing that. And we haven't worked on it very much yet, so I'm learning, they're learning. So we'll just try it one more time. So you go to the target. Tilly, target. Good. So we do a little whistle, that's called a bridge. And that means your fish is coming. And then we got to work on Winston and see how he does with it. We're also going to teach her a word called station. That's kind of like when she went up on the land there. We can teach them to go to a specific spot and they can each have a different station to eat from. And you might do that with your dog at home. If you have two dogs, we make one dog sit at one end of the kitchen and the other at the other end so that they don't get into a fight over their food. So basically we've trained them to sit and station.
Oh, how neat. And Colton and Cassidy would like to know, do they hibernate?
So otters do not hibernate. They usually have a burrow along very close to the water. And so they're semi-aquatic animals. They're as comfortable in water as out of water, but they typically live near lakes and streams. And the burrow might be a used beaver den or something like that, underground or in a real brushy area where there's a lot of grapevine and branches that they can hide in. And so they can hide and keep warm enough there. They have a very thick insulating layer of fat in the wintertime. And what they do, that protects them from the cold weather, and they're still able to go and catch their food and be comfortable. And one thing, let's talk about how an otter moves around. So you see them swimming very well. They typically doggy paddle in the water, but they use their tail as a rudder, so they can use that to aim in which direction. And if they want to accelerate to catch a fish, they use that strong tail to push themselves to get the fish. And when they're on land, you'll see them walking. Sometimes you'll see them running. They also do something called bounding, where their front legs go up and it's almost like a hop. And in the wintertime, they do a lot of sliding. And Corey, our camera guy, he was here when it was snowy, and Tilly was sliding, having a real good time. So it's a quick way for them to get around in snow, and it helps them. They can slide, into the water real quick. If it's a muddy bank, they might slide. And if they just enjoy the snow. And we talked about otters being playful, and that's one real interesting thing about otters. So otters are quite playful. through most of their life. And lots of times when you kids come to the zoo, I hear you saying, "Oh, I wish I was an otter. It looks like fun." Otters play as an adaptation. That's how they learned to catch their fish. They start out by playing with it. And then they keep a lot of that playfulness for a long time in life, and a lot of animals do not. You might have an older dog at home that doesn't want to play anymore. Well, can you think of another animal that still plays when they're older? Humans are unique in that we still like to play when we're older. We might not play football, but we play things like chess or checkers or video games or tennis. And so that is a fun thing that we have in common with the otters.
That's awesome. And Cole wants to know, how long do they live?
Otters can live up to 20 years in the zoo, in the captivity. In the wild, they don't live that long. They have predators to worry about, and they might only live 8 years. And here we noticed a similar worry with Tilly not too long ago. She was running into the door at night, and she seemed scared. And so I was watching what was happening, and we added an extra burrow up there for her to hide in because a bald eagle had been flying overhead, and Tilly knew that was danger. And so she would kind of look both ways before she crossed the street coming from the water to the building and just run in. And once we gave her that extra hiding spot, she seemed more secure, and she's doing much better.
That's so observant, and very cool behind the scenes stuff we're learning here. Maggie, Macy, McKenna, and Cadence want to know, how big do these otters get?
Well, these otters are not quite full grown. Winston could probably get a little heavier. So he weighs almost about 20 pounds, and she weighs about 17 pounds. And they might get a little heavier. There have been otters known to be as high as 30, but that might be overweight. And what they were just doing there is mutual grooming, allo grooming. And otters are very social. They do live in family groups for a period of time. And so they're fluffing up their coats, and they look for bugs, and it's a way for them to bond as well.
And Michelle asks, what noises do they make?
That's a good question. So different species of otters make different noises. And we have the North Americans, but we used to have the spotted-necked otters, and they only made a little peeping noise, and it was like a location noise. They'd peep, peep. Especially when they had the babies, they would do that back and forth. And these guys sometimes peep, but when they're mad, they growl. They also have kind of a scream, and if Winston's bothering Tilly too much, she will scream at him. It's very high-pitched sound.
And Maddie asks, how many different species of otters are there in the world?
Well, I forgot to look that up. I'm not certain. I think it's 9, but maybe your mom or dad could Google it. But there are quite a few different species of otters.
And Jenny asks, do you keep the water heated?
No, we don't heat the water. It is filtered year-round, and that keeps it from freezing, and it keeps it slightly warmer than without the filtering. But they don't need it to be heated. They're well adapted to the cool temperatures.
And Penny wants to know if they can hear underwater.
Yes, so certain animals can hear underwater. They don't necessarily hear through their ears. So animals have something called bone conduction, and they actually hear through their jaws. And so they might not hear everything, but they can hear sounds, and certain fish give off noises, and so they can use that to find fish.
And we have just these 2 otters since we changed species, correct?
Right.
All right, and let's see. Donna asks, are they related to beavers?
So, no. Otters are in the mustelid family, which is like weasels and skunks. So they're not closely related to beavers.
All right. And let's see. Rowan wants to know if the otters sometimes fight.
Yes, they do. It's usually or just a squabble. We haven't had serious fighting. They can fight if it's mating time, mating season.
And Sue asks, have they caught any ducks lately?
No, these animals have never caught a duck. We used to have some Cape clawless otters many years ago, and they did catch a duck one time in the wild. North American river otters do occasionally catch small ducks, such as a teal or maybe a mallard, but it's unusual.
And just to recap, these are our North American river otters. We have a male and a female, Tilly and Winston. And you said Tilly is older?
She is. She's 3 and he's 2.
All right. And how long have they been here at the zoo?
About a year. About 1 year ago, I was able to go up to the Potter Park Zoo in Michigan and get Winston, and Tilly was flown here on an airplane.
And Alex, you can see the otters in Tembo Trail. Their water exhibit is just across from the Hippoquarium and just before you get to the elephants. Let's see. Yes, you guys are all saying they're so cute. We totally agree. They are absolutely adorable. And Mary Beth was telling us we can tell them apart because Tilly has more white on her underside. And Winston is the more food dominant, so he's the one, for the most part, going after food pretty quickly here. Yes, Grace, there are lots of different types of otters. And Kayla wants to know, what are the otters' predators?
Well, North American river otters can be, they have to worry about things like coyotes, bobcat, mountain lion, bears, depending on where they're located in North America. Around here, their biggest threat may be domestic dogs, and they can also catch diseases like rabies and distemper that dogs can carry. And they also could possibly be predated on by an eagle, such as a bald eagle.
And what did you just toss in there for them?
That was just a popsicle with a smelt in it.
Very nice. Bridget asks, how fast can they swim?
I am not sure the answer to that question.
We will have to Google that one. That'd be a good Google exercise, guys. All right. So when otters have babies, how many pups are in a litter usually? Olivia asks us.
Otters can have about 1 to 5 pups at a time. Some people call them kits and pups. And the most typical is probably to have 2. When we had the spotted-necked otters, we had 2 litters of 2.
And Emma asks if they sleep at night.
Yes, our otters do sleep at night. They come inside the building and they have a little nest box. And we actually have a camera on one of them, and we're able to watch them view their overnight behavior. And the animal that's in the nest box is pretty cute, all curled up sleeping, and they move around at night, but they do sleep pretty soundly, it appears.
And Kelly asks what other kinds of enrichment they have.
Okay, so we're going to be giving them some enrichment. One thing I have here is just a big water bottle, like a Culligan water bottle. And I've got some clams that I'm going to drop in there along with the water. I'll give 2. And then I use this boomer ball, and sometimes I'll put a couple of shrimp in there, and they have to get that out in the water. And let's see, I've also got some grapevine wreaths, and the zoo snoozers make enrichment for us. If you've ever had an overnight group at the zoo, you may have made some enrichment for us, and this is one of the things we get is the frozen smelt in the wreaths. We also get the popsicles, and we've gotten scent bags with straw, and kids like to draw a lot of designs, hello Mr. Otter and things like that. It's really cute. We usually give the scent bags inside because they make a big mess with the straw in the water.
And Ben, no, unfortunately, you can't see the otters from this angle at the zoo, but we do have a very cool viewing area for our visitors to see the otters that is downstairs where we're at right now. Only the keepers get to come up here and see the otters from this point of view. Alex asks, do otters mate for life?
That's a good question. I do not think that they do. They may stay together for several seasons, but it's probably unlikely that they mate for life. But you might want to Google that. I could be wrong.
Yeah. And Jamie asks, are they always so playful? I know you talked a little bit about this, but I think it bears repeating.
Yes, these otters are very playful, and part of it is, yes, they are still young, but they do take a nap occasionally, sometimes around 11:30 in the morning, and then after lunch they'll take a short nap up on the land. After they get all dried off and they've had their snacks, they curl up in the sun sometimes and take a little snooze, but these otters really like to interact with the kids that come and play with them at the glass.
And Kaden wants to know if Tilly and Winston are a couple.
Yes, you could say they are a couple. They're too young to have babies this year, we think, but possibly in the future. And one thing interesting about otters, these North American river otters, they have a delayed implantation, so they don't have a pregnancy like humans do, where the baby just grows and then comes out. The delayed implantation means that they start to have a baby and then they go on pause. They take a break and the baby is born a year later. So it's kind of an interesting fact.
That is neat. And Kelly asks, why shouldn't you have an otter as a pet?
Otters do not make a good pet. For one thing, they have a very strong odor like a skunk, and they also are very messy. Sometimes you'll see them pooping and peeing up on the exhibit. They have a latrine, which means they go in a community site, and that kind of marks their scent where they're located. And the other thing is that they bite. So they're not recommended as a pet.
And Amy asks, what are the otter's favorite toys?
Well, that's a good question. Since they do play with almost all of their toys, so probably some of their balls with the holes and the fish in them. And they had a rubber Kong toy inside, but I had to take it away from them because they started to pull a little bit of it off. So, but they can play with almost anything. They play with rocks. They have a rock in their indoor pool that they play with, and it sounds silly, but we keep it for them because it's just the right size, and they like it. So they'll play with their shells sometimes. Sometimes they'll just play with a leaf or something silly like that, bark.
And Aria asks, are they aggressive?
Well, otters are not typically aggressive, but if you were to accidentally corner them in a situation like that, they would definitely be aggressive. They would growl. They make a noise that's like a low, like, and they want you to back away. So they're giving you information. Do not try to catch me. I will bite.
Amber asks, how do they have so much energy?
Well, we have to feed them more often. The small animals have a quick metabolism, so in the wild, they would just catch a couple little fish and then they do something, then they catch some more. So we try to mimic that in the zoo and we give small amounts of food at a time, and then that gives them energy, and it has a lot of protein in it. So they don't eat very many carbohydrates, if you know what that is. Protein is derived from meat and sometimes beans and things like that, and it is a substance with amino acids, and it gives them a lot of energy to build their muscles.
And Noah, these are North American river otters that we're looking at, and this is our pair here at the zoo, Tilly and Winston, and they are ages 2 and 3. Elias wants to know, how deep is their pool?
Their pool is about 5.5 feet deep in the deepest part, and we do drain it once a year, so that's coming up in April, and we clean it all out and refill it. We're going to fix some things, and then it'll be back up and going again. I think they need something else, so let's try the wreath.
So those are grapevine wreaths that have fish stuck in the sides of them, and as Mary Beth was telling us earlier, these were created by our zoo snoozers. So those of you who have ever done a snooze or overnight here at the zoo, they help create enrichment for our animals, and this is one of the projects that they do. So not only will they eat the fish and pull them out, and that's a challenge in and of itself to get that out, but as you can see, they're also going to play with the wreath itself. And Rebecca asks, do they actually like to cuddle with each other like in Finding Dory?
Well, Winston and Tilly have only been friends for about a year, so they don't typically cuddle too often. They do go during the day. They both sleep under that black hide nest back there where we can't really see what they're doing, so I'm guessing they do cuddle a little bit.
This is very cool. Do you guys have other questions for us? We appreciate you guys all tuning in. We can do some more shout outs here. Hi Trenton, hi Lori and Alex and Kim. And Sawyer asks, can they climb up walls?
Well, that's a good question. Otters can climb. They do not climb straight up walls, though. They try to climb like up a branch. They could probably climb partway up that tree in the center of our exhibit, but we do have electric fence around on the walls just to be sure, so that we know that they are safe.
We'll say hi to Ellie, and hi Louie, hi Alice. Thanks for tuning in today. Hi Ashlyn and JJ. Hi Kimmy. Hi Anastasia. Jerry, yes, we do Facebook Lives each weekday at 10:30, so we'll hope that you will tune in and join us. Let's see. Hi Morgan. Hi Shelly. Anastasia asks, are they friendly?
Well, our otters know who their keepers are, and they definitely come and greet us at the door in the morning. It's mostly, I think, that they want something to eat, but they do like attention. And so that compared to some animals, they are quite friendly, where some animals just stay away when you come in. They don't want to be bothered. Winston and Tilly are nosy. They want to know everything we're doing, when are we going to get fed, and they definitely interact with the keepers quite a bit.
They are very curious little creatures. Hi Ezra, hi Asher. George asks, are otters endangered?
The North American river otter is considered a species of least concern at this time. They were hunted during the early 1900s for their pelts by trappers and hunters that were homesteading across the United States, and that severely limited their numbers. But over the years, the otters have made a tremendous comeback, and they've been reintroduced into a lot of areas. And they are even found here in Ohio in the Maumee River, which is our next door neighbor across the street. And they're not found right here by Toledo, but to the southwest above the dam in Waterville they've been seen.
Hi Declan, hi Jace, hi Eros, hi Annabella, hi Sophia.
What was that?
Hi Braden. Hi Kaden, hi Athena. Drake asked, do they eat the clam shells or just the clam?
They just eat the clam, and then they drop the shell or sometimes play with the shell. They can crack some shells with their teeth if they have to. So a lot of times you see on TV the sea otters, which live in the ocean. They're the fuzzy otters laying on their back, cracking things with rocks, and those are different species. You might see them cracking an urchin with a rock, and that's not our North American river otters. They do catch some mollusks like that are freshwater.
All right, and we're gonna end with a few more shout outs here, and then we got one more question for you. But hi to Anna, Noah, and Sarah. Hi Christian. Hi Dylan. Hi Allegra. Hi Austin and Aubrey. And hi Katerina. All right, the last question we have for Miss Mary Beth today is, do the otters get frightened or distracted from other noises at the zoo?
Yeah, that's a good question. We just saw that. One of them got startled by a noise that was unfamiliar to them. I'm not sure what it was. They'll make a little snorty noise, and they'll usually head underwater so they know it's safe under there. That's their safe spot usually. Especially if they're out of water and something startles them, they'll just hop right in the water and feel safer.
That's kind of their first defense mechanism.
Right.
Very nice. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today to learn all about otters. We appreciate Mary Beth's time talking to us today. And we hope that you guys will continue to tune in each weekday at 10:30. We're going to try and move all around the zoo and give you as much information and cool stuff as we possibly can. Again, if you are enjoying these and you're able, there is a donate button. You can help us sustain our future during this difficult time. You can also donate at our Facebook fundraiser or ToledoZoo.org/donate. We sincerely appreciate them very much. You guys are really helping to keep us going, so thank you. And again, if you need dinner tonight and you're in the Toledo area, meals on the go, enchiladas, or chicken Alfredo, check it out at ToledoZoo.org. You can place your order and then just drive on in and pick it up. And finally, don't forget to tune in to our education virtual classroom. All of that and more is available at ToledoZoo.org. It's one of the main ways we are keeping in touch with you guys and keeping connected. So thank you so much again, and we'll see you all tomorrow.